The second conversation on the show today, and it's about the landmark signing of the student loan bill by the President Bola Tinubu. For President Bola Tinubu, it appears there is no time to waste in his desire to deliver on his renewed hope agenda. The President signed into law the student loan bill in fulfillment of his campaign promise. According to the federal government, the funds will be domiciled in the Ministry of Education and only accessed by indigent students of tertiary institutions through interest-free loans by the Nigerian Education Loan Funds. Well, let's hear from the government after the signing.
The President, His Excellency Bola Tinubu, signed into law the Students' Loan Bill. This is a promise made during the presidential campaign by the then candidate, His Excellency Bola Tinubu, that he would bring back the issue of the student loans issue onto the front burner. And today, that promise he made has been kept. He has just signed that bill into law, which henceforth will allow or enable our indigent students to access the federal government loans to fund their educational pursuit.
This, no doubt, is a very, very huge one. And we hope that the federal government will be able to bring the hopes of Nigerians up again, especially in the education sector. But let's delve into the aspect of this bill or law now that's been signed into law that would encourage Nigerian students to pursue their educational aspirations. Tell us, what was your reaction when this news broke that the President has signed the student loan bill into law?
Yeah, of course, I welcome it heartily. First, let me commend the person who introduced the bill, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila. Well, we are not surprised. The President promised that he was going to ensure that there was students' loan. I was, when he made that campaign promise.
And you could see, permit me to step in, Paul, you could see the President signing it with a lot of conviction, that this is what I want for my people. Remember that during his campaign trail, he also emphasized that education in Nigeria will be according to the academic calendar, not based on the calendar that the government is setting for you.
Exactly. Student loans is what is obtainable in several other countries, the US, even African countries. A small country as Namibia. I know people who went to university on, I know one very close, in Namibia, very close to me, and she went on student loan and she's working. So it's a very good thing, and a lot of, there are so many families, many Nigerians who can't even, at 1,000 naira is a luxury to them, you understand? And a lot of people come from such families. They want to access higher education, they can't. There are people who, very brilliant children, very brilliant students who come from indigent families, homes, and they can't even go to university, not because they are not brilliant enough, not because they are not intelligent enough, because they are poor. So it's a very good thing. However, there are still some Nigerians who are very skeptical, about it. Nigerians are, because of years of enduring bad leadership. So Nigerians sometimes are very skeptical about policies or programs that are made with the best of intention. Okay, so, but the issues that are being raised, one of them is, okay, you give student loan, the person graduates, what's the guarantee that the person will get a job? Because if you study that bill or the act, it is said that the Education Bank also will liaise with employers who will deduct part of the income of
to pay back the loan.
What if somebody comes out and for 3-4 years he does not get a job? How will the loan be repaid? It's a legitimate concern. But I'm also happy that this president has also promised to create jobs. So the issue of job creation is there. It's actually there. Another issue is abuse. The Nigerian thing. We hope that people that will manage this scheme are not those that will just siphon the money, and then those who are supposed to be beneficiaries of the scheme will not get to benefit from it, because this is for people who earn less than 42,000 naira per month. That's 500,000 naira per annum. So if you are earning up to 42k per month, you do not have.
You don't need this.
You don't need this. So you've got to earn maybe 41.6 downwards. So that's what it is. So I do, but let us not always be pessimistic. Let's not always have criticize issues as if we by default. Let's understand. Let's see how it goes, and let's encourage it. And if there are proposals that we can give to make it better, or how it can be implemented, let's bring it forward. Not that we just be naysayers.
All right, Yinka, let me have your thoughts on this. I mean, the concern that Paul raised is quite valid. I hope the beneficiaries, which are the Nigerian people, will not abuse this and turn it to another national cake that is my own right, I'm not going to pay back.
No, let me first of all deal with the issue of the skeptics. Just as he has also recognized, Nigerians have been so battered that any government policy is looked at with some level of pessimism. And you won't blame them, because we had, is it we had or we have, because I'm not sure whether it's still existing. We have the scholarship board in those days, which was flagrantly abused. You give scholarship to those who can afford it and not those who really merit it. But this one, the thing I love about this is, one, it is meant for public and local universities. Don't let us forget that. Yeah. So if you go to a private university,
you have the money.
You have the money. Of course. So for me, I think because of this, it will not be abused by those who are going to be giving it, because no politician will be able to influence having his own child, or any big man having his own child to get it, because most of them have their children not in public universities or local, our own, they don't have their children in public universities and local universities. Most of them send their children abroad. That's one good thing about this policy, which I like. But that also might be a point at which those who are going to implement it need to guide against it. Because if you don't do it well, you just treat it as, okay, it's a scholarship for the indigent, so we can do it any way we want. That will defeat the reason why the presenter of the bill and the president who signed it did that. So I think until we have been, since it was signed yesterday on social media, different copies or versions of it have been flying around. So the version I saw and what I've gained from it is a very wonderful one.
Yeah, it is.
But you know, the problem of Nigeria is that almost all Nigerian laws are crafted perfectly, but implementation is a concern.
It's a concern.
We will look forward to a situation where it is implemented to the letter and make people gain from it. And for the president, it is not enough for him to have signed it. It is also important who are the people who are going to manage it. The president or whoever will be the Minister of Education must be someone who has his eyes on details. Because when you give people a responsibility and you don't monitor it very well, there's likely to be argument.
I think Vicky completely agrees with you on some of the points you've made. Vicky, let me bring you up with this one. What are the impacts you expect that this bill will have on the short and long term? We've looked at the aspects of the bill and some of the challenges that may come with it. But what are the impacts you expect with this bill that is already signed into law?
Recall, for the sake of posterity, that Ashwaju instituted the policy of paying WAEC, NECO, JAM fees for the indigent students. Ashwaju recognized early in the day as governor of Lagos State that there are many parents who are so poor to the point that they won't be in position to pay the school fees, to pay the WAEC fees, to pay the NECO fees, pay JAM fees, for their children. So, not only that, he also came up with what was called Jiggy Bola at that time, providing medicated glasses for people too poor to afford such a thing. So he has always kept the poor people in his mind. When people say, how will this work? They should ask the question, how does TED Fund work? Because this is very similar to the TED Fund in terms of where the funding will originate from. So there's no need for some of the concerns that Nigerians are expressing. Today, in most of the state universities, more than half of their buildings were built by TED Fund. TED Fund funds not just research in our institutions of higher learning, but they build structures. Without TED Fund, I wonder where some of our universities will be. Go to any Nigerian university, you see the footprints, you see the impact of TED Fund. Now, coming to this one, what the president has come up with is an interest-free loan. This has been done in many countries of the world, and he knows that there are many parents who will not be able to pay the school fees of their children. So now, it is not an all-commerce affair. Your academic performances will qualify you, will make you eligible to be able to benefit from this. So that way, even if you are an indigent student, you must show proof that you are actually more brilliant than the ordinary students for you to be considered by the bank. The bank will be called Education Bank. It is that bank that will disburse the funds, and the CEO of the bank will report directly to the president. This is also another thing that ensures that the monitoring is going to be complete, and the repayment shall be by direct deduction of 10% from the salary of the beneficiary. Now, it is after you have finished your youth service and you have begun work that they will start drawing that money from your account. So, all the students seeking tuition fees for learning are eligible for the loan, but you have to be brilliant enough. Then that's why I mentioned the academic records. The employers of loan beneficiary will deduct the loan from the salaries. The fund for the bank, which is very important. Somebody was saying, people in Nigeria is broke, they are coming up with other ideas, all kinds of funny ideas on social media. The funding shall consist of 1% of tax levies from the FRS, from the NIS, and 1% of oil profits. It is very similar, as I said earlier, to what we have done with TED Fund. So there is the guarantee of sustenance of funding for this laudable scheme. I can tell you many of the big people in Nigeria today, if there wasn't free education, they would not have gone to school. If there was no free education in the Southwest that Awolowo instituted, many of the big Nigerians that you see today, they would not have gone to school. So we have to prioritize education and make it affordable. That is what this bill or this law will enable us to do.
And that's a good way. That's a good place to drive home the conversation. It will give us. That's the impact we are talking about, both on the short term and the long term, the sustainability and the improved level of education. Because now the focus will be on the public schools to, of course, function properly, so that the beneficiary of this loan can graduate on time and start repaying back their loans.
Yes.